Hello, this is wmpyr. Here, let me show you real quick. This is kind of like a horror setup I've been doing. Those are some of my horror films in the back right there, and then you could see that's actually Mad Balls. They re-released those, and you can find them at Target right now. And that's something from my childhood in the 80s. I'm completely blown away that they brought them back. So much nostalgia there. So I had to get them. Uh, let's see, you can see the chessboard, and I got some those are miniature Mad Balls and some other horror related stuff. Let's see if I can give you a different angle here. Um, there we go. There's my Frankenstein mask. You guys can see. And yeah, it's just a black tablecloth I put on top and some glow in the dark skeletons and stuff like that. You know, I like Halloween, so I figure why not have this set up here where I could have it Halloween year round, at least on this table, right? So that's just kind of like what I like to do. Went to the Goodwill today and got a lab coat. I thought it'd be kind of cool to do the mad scientist type horror host type thing, and you know, have a Dr. Vampire come out and do some horror film review for you guys. But anyway, for today, wanted to talk about martial arts, different perspectives that you could have on the martial arts as far as training goes. There's a lot of different ways that you could view martial arts. So one perspective, I think a fairly common and fairly popular one, is a scientific perspective. So we're talking about martial science. I think Bruce Lee said that he likes that approach, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, so you're talking about using anatomy, physics, these kinds of things to understand body mechanics. So you have a scientific approach. Another one is like, let's say, a realistic approach. So this could be like where you're going full contact with gear on and testing it out and just go, let's see what happens. It could also be where you're interviewing people, you're talking to police officers and stuff, and getting just raw statistics of what happens in a street fight, what happens in a knife attack, what happens when people get assaulted, what are the crime rates, you know, all that kind of stuff, just getting that kind of data, right? So that you can make things realistic. Another one is the art. After all, it's called martial arts. So when you're putting in the word art, now we're talking about creativity. Now, there's a lot more than that, okay? But one of the things that I want to just flat out say is it's not whether one is more correct than the other or one is better than the other. That's not what it's about, right? So it's not about like science versus art, or you know, like I said, there's a whole bunch of different perspectives. Okay, so if you look at the saying, the glass is half full or the glass is half empty, right? It's the same idea. And the answer for that, and you could think about this for a moment on your own and see which one is the correct answer. The correct answer is basically they're both correct, but not just that. You want to choose the better one depending on the situation. So the situation is going to choose which one is correct, if that makes sense. Both can be correct, right? But it's the one that's going to benefit you. So if you're out in the desert where it's like very, very demoralizing, and you have a cup and you know it's halfway, all right? If you think to yourself, I only have half left, that could be depressing, and it's already a very extreme environment you're in, and you could lose hope real fast that way. And if you lose hope, then you're not going to be able to continue on, and you may not be able to fight through it. So in that case, it would be better to say to yourself, you know, it's half full. Man, I got half full. That's it feels like there's more that way. So psychologically, it strengthens you. Okay. Now there may be another situation where you want to be more cautious and go, okay, I need to really, really be careful about how much I'm drinking and manage it well, because it's so easy to just gulp it down, right? So the perspective there is all about which one is going to yield a positive outcome for you. So it's the same idea here with the martial arts, whether you have a scientific approach, a more realistic approach, or a more art type creative approach, or something totally different. It depends on which one is going to benefit you at the moment. So if you have an open mind, you'll be able to benefit from any kind of approach. So in that case, why not have all the different approaches, or as many different approaches as possible? And then depending on the situation, the type of training or the type of goal or whatever you're preparing for, you might lean more towards one or the other during a certain time, right? So maybe next year you'll have a completely different approach, a different perspective. So you change and you adapt, right? So that's the best way to do it, in my opinion. But especially for beginners and stuff, that could be very, very hard, because having multiple perspectives and an open mind to handle that is a great thing, and everyone talks about how that's good. But the reason why people don't do it is because they can't handle it. As a beginner, imagine having a perspective, 3 different perspectives, studying one style, and it could be super confusing, okay? So that's why they don't do it, or they don't recommend it for a beginner. So that's the clarification. If you're a beginner, or if you just can't handle all that, then you want to simplify and stick to just one, even if it's not the best way to go about things. Just stick with one and just do that. It's better than getting confused. So that's definitely something that I wanted to share with you guys. But ultimately, you want to be able to get comfortable enough that you can handle other perspectives, because that'll enable you to adapt better to the situation. And anyone like from the military who study military tactics and stuff know that adaptation in combat is a huge deal. It's one of the most important tactics that you can. If your army can adapt to things and the other army can't, then you're probably gonna win that war, just for that reason alone. So anyway, that's it for now. Thank you for listening, and take care, folks.